we're doing is Dungeon Crawler Carl,
like,
first book.
I would like to put out a disclaimer that I yawn a lot
Uh-huh.
when I'm not the person talking.
Okay.
I don't know why this is a thing that happens to me.
Is it a nervous yawn?
I don't think so. I think it's like my brain can finally not be going at 1,000,000 miles a minute.
So you can just intake information?
Yeah, and because I'm only intaking information, my brain is resting, and suddenly it needs a lot more oxygen.
Okay.
I don't know.
From all the talking you were just doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's okay, honey.
It's just a thing. I just want to be clear if I yawn a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because I don't love you.
I really appreciate it. It's okay. I didn't think that was the problem. Okay, so the way I wanted to do it was start off with your classic question.
Yep.
Okay, it's still recording. Just want to make sure.
We did the classic question already.
Yeah, but I just wanted to redo it.
Okay.
I figured it's easier.
Yeah.
And so I asked you if you could bring any household item right now into the dungeon. What would you bring?
I'm gonna go with the pot, like a regular, like a medium-sized pot, like a 9-inch.
Are you going with
tall.
like the tall pot with the handles?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not gonna go like frying pan,
No.
like.
No, I want something with like heavy bottom, but like tall sides, so that you can boil stuff, but also like you
Use
can
it.
make sauces and stuff like that in it. And because it's heavy bottomed and it's got a long handle, you can still kind of beat people over the head with it.
Yeah, got 'em.
So I feel like that's a very useful
Yeah.
item.
Double
Otherwise,
use.
my water bottle, when full of water, is very heavy
Okay.
and metal.
So,
And I have many times carried it in my hand while I'm walking alone at night
mhm.
as a safety blanket,
Yes,
because I figure if I whack somebody over the head with it, it will hurt them.
yeah, and you would never use the mace that I bought you.
I actually don't know what that is.
Oh my god, why did I even bother?
I don't know. You bought it. I told you not to.
It's okay. I think if I could bring anything in our household, with the foresight of our first session that got like messed up and not recorded,
Huh, you're a big cat.
I would bring kimchi.
Not Itty, Kimchi.
Well,
because
Kim-
Itty's old.
Yeah, Itty's old. She's a 16-year-old cat. So we got Kimchi, who's 3, and she's very soft, but she's also got very sharp claws,
And she
which
does
she
make
showed
them.
me. Yep, which she has shown me many times.
And she will use them.
And she continues to show me every night, exactly at 3:09 a.m. when she comes up and she gives me the fluffiest punch in the face in my life. And you know, it's a shock to me every time. I'm like, shock
She
Pikachu.
doesn't do it every night. She hasn't been doing it for a while.
She stopped a week ago. It had been going
No,
on.
it was 2 weeks ago.
Do you know what it's like to have your biggest bully sit on your chest at 3 a.m.?
She sits on me more than she sits on you.
Now she does, but she punches me with her fluffy fist at 3 a.m.
She punched me multiple times. I have scars.
It's not a contest. I'm just saying, she got catitude.
She got attitude.
It's okay.
And she's cute.
Yes.
So you could really like, you know,
So she has cutitude.
you could really use that, leverage that to your best interests.
So I would bring kimchi because kimchi is feisty.
Yeah. She
And
is.
in Dungeon Crawler Carl,
Yep.
we have our main character who is Carl.
Yep.
Standard, like bog standard, 25-year-old white guy. His background is that I think he talked about how he had previously been in the Navy when he completed high school. So he went to the Navy for 4 years. Used it to pay for some schooling. I don't think he has a formal degree in anything. But he was going back to school after his time in the Navy, and like that's what he was doing at the moment.
Okay. What? Okay.
Yeah, so his background is that
Sorry, it took me a minute to process.
he's like mid to late 20s. He was in the Navy before because he was like all 18-year-olds, he was pretty aimless in life, so he didn't know what he wanted to do.
Join the army.
So
or
he
the
goes-
Navy.
Yeah,
in this
so
case.
he went, I could never join the Marines because I'm too scared of dying.
Yeah, well, that's
So joining the Navy seemed like a far safer endeavor.
Which one is the one that everybody makes fun of for being like lame? Is it the Navy or is it the Air Force?
So it's generally the Air Force because they don't really see that much combat. I mean, it's the same for the Navy to my understanding too. So the Marines are like the craziest people because they're always in active combat.
And as Booth from Bone says, Army Rangers lead the way.
Oh, God. You know that's also a quote from Call of Duty?
You know that's just their slogan.
Yeah.
Right? Rangers lead the way.
Yeah, but it's also been memeified because of that. So in the 4th Call of Duty game, the guy like pulls you up in the beginning of the game and he goes, Rangers lead the way. Yeah, and he throws you out there and you're like, oh boy, I'm 13 and I have a gun in a video game.
So Carl, not a ranger.
No, Carl's very much not a ranger. And he talks about how he is not a ranger.
I was never meant for this.
Yeah, so you start in the beginning of the book. You meet your main character. He kind of gives you a little bit of background on his life. He's kind of like down on his luck, mid-20-year-old white guy. He has this prize cat, Donut, and it's a Persian, I think it's a Persian short hair or Persian long hair. She's kind of fluffy.
I don't think most Persians aren't short hairs.
Yeah, they have the long coat, right?
I think you're thinking of like a Himalayan.
Maybe, but if I showed you the picture, she has the Persian face.
Were you squished?
Yeah, she's got the squish face.
Oh yeah.
And so she's got the squish face, but she does have a longer coat.
I think most Persians are long hair.
Okay, so he's got this Persian long hair that belongs to his ex-girlfriend. He recently had broken up with his ex-girlfriend because she cheated on him repeatedly. And
did you hear that?
Yeah, I know. Kimchi's shocked.
Kimchi was shocked the first time she looked over. She's like, "What?
The cheater? How dare she?" But I thought it was interesting. His response was basically like, "Yeah, she cheated on me a bunch, and I found out later, and I got upset, and I was angry. But also, like, I can't really contend with that because she's way hotter than me, and I am sad."
That's not an excuse for cheating.
It's not, but that's just the way he rationalizes it because he's. Yeah, because he's like in the loser mentality, okay?
Wow. Okay.
He's like, listen, I'm just a loser and I accept it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That song? I'm a freak. I'm a loser.
Are you talking about Creep from Radiohead?
Oh, it's Creep.
Yes, not Freak.
Yeah.
Creep. It's okay. You had the sentiment.
It's okay. Yeah, we won't get copyright strike because I don't know.
That's why we said it that way. To avoid copyright, right? But basically, he goes through this whole exposition about his life at the current moment, and then they're in the middle of their breakup. And he's like, okay, so the cat belongs to my ex-girlfriend. She's coming tomorrow or like in the next few days to come get the cat. I just have to make sure that the cat stays alive. And it's like a prize show cat, so I have to take really good care of her. I have to brush her daily because she's a Persian. So Persians can't maintain their own coat because they're the squish face.
Yep, yeah. This is why we adopted and we don't check. Sorry. Gotta throw that one in there.
Uh-huh.
We're getting political with Dungeon Crawler Carl.
In his beginning of the story.
Adopt a child.
Uh-huh. And so basically it's 3 a.m. The cat jumps on him and wakes him up, then jumps out the window and clings to a tree. And then starts meowing at him to come get her down from the tree.
This is 100% something Kimchi would do.
Yeah.
Except I think Kimchi could get down on her own.
Yeah, I fully believe that she could. She would just dig her claws in. I've never seen a cat run up anything faster than Kimchi. She's really showing me what it means to be a young cat.
Yeah. I think Itty would be the one who gets stuck in the tree and then yell for help.
Yeah,
She'd
basically.
be like 3 feet up and be like, "Please, I can't get down."
Yeah, so basically, Donut gets stuck in the tree.
Okay.
Carl has to go outside
Yep.
to go get her out of the tree. What?
Just Kimchi.
Kimchi just wants to hang and
She's
groom.
just going between 2 spots on the couch.
She can't get comfortable, okay?
Flipping over. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm distracted. This is the second time, so it's a little...
It's okay. The second time around. Oh wait, I didn't say. So my rating for this book, because I wanted to do it up front, was 4 out of 5 stars.
Okay.
I thought it had a really good hook.
Uh-huh.
It definitely gave me that like addiction that I was looking for, to be like, oh yeah, I want to keep reading the series, or I want to keep playing this game. And so I think what was most interesting to me that drew me to the book was that it was called a literary RPG.
Interesting.
And so they do focus a decent amount about his stats and like working with the system that he's given in the storyline, and they kind of like gamify a lot of the scenarios. So it makes sense to me because I'm such an avid gamer.
Yeah.
That like these are your stats or your character sheets in let's say like Baldur's Gate or something like that. And so it just kind of makes sense, and like every time he levels up or like completes a scenario in a quest line, it tells you the rewards, it tells you his experience, what level he is, the other stats. And I feel like it gets kind of boring in the beginning because you level up so many times, so you kind of get tired of hearing the announcer explain to you his stats. But he does let up on that, and eventually he just starts going like, oh yeah, he got another level and he got a really good skill out of it or something. So I don't think it's a 5 out of 5, the best thing I've ever read or heard before, but I did like that it hooked me pretty hard, and I feel like the pacing was really fast.
4 out of 5 is a really good score.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. It's a good book, and I feel like if you're looking for somebody who is like me, who's mostly a gamer or watches movies and TV shows, I feel like this was meant more to pander to my kind of audience. And that's why I was like, let me do the book review on this one. So going back to the storyline though, you learn a little bit about Carl, who's your main character, and the whole series is narrated by him, and so it's all in first person. He monologues a ton, which I wasn't a huge fan of, because I felt like it was unnecessary to explain to me every thought that runs through his mind rather than just tell me like what he's doing, and if they need to come up with a plan, what he thinks the plan should be, kind of thing.
It's kind of like he could have used an editor.
Yeah, kind of. So there's several pages where you're just stuck in his head, and he's like, but if I do this, then this will happen. But if I do that, that'll happen. And I go, this is like an overthinker scenario. And
which you are very much not. So maybe being in the head of an overthinker really doesn't work for you.
Yeah, I got kind of bored, and I tuned out some of those parts. Because I'm like, well, we need to land on a plan, okay, man? Like, just choose. And so, we cut back to Carl. His cat just jumped out the window and got stuck in a tree. And so he goes, okay, it's perpetually hot in my apartment. And it's the middle of winter, so my windows are open, which is why the cat ran out the window. And he's only in his boxers. Cat is outside. He has to go get the cat. So he puts on a leather coat, and he puts on his girlfriend's pink Crocs, or his ex-girlfriend's pink Crocs. Because it's like, hey, I'm just going to throw on sandals to go out and get the stupid cat.
I think his girlfriend's feet that they can share Crocs.
He specifically talks about how it doesn't fit him.
Oh, okay. That's really uncomfortable.
Yeah, so I think in his mind, he's supposed to be going out for like 30 seconds. And he just needs something on his feet. So he goes out to get the cat down, and he does the typical man thing, and he just yells at the cat to try to get the cat to come down.
So that's a dumb idea to get a cat down, just so you know. You probably shouldn't yell at them.
Yeah, he does describe how he's not fond of cats, which I feel like is a pretty common thing for a lot of guys that I meet, is that they don't understand cats, so that they don't like them. Typically, the only people I know that like cats have them, or have them growing up. And so I feel like it's just that they don't understand how cats are and their strong personalities, and they don't like that. So Carl's outside, 3 a.m. He's yelling at this cat to come down from a tree. His downstairs neighbor, who lives on the first floor, is a little old lady. She opens up the window. She starts screaming at Carl because he's screaming at the cat at 3 a.m.
Which is fair.
Yeah, and so they're all yelling at each other in like a triangle kind of fashion. And he's... Well, the cat is meowing, I think.
Is the cat meowing at the old lady?
Maybe.
She's like, shut up, lady.
It's got to be a proper triangle.
So
then the big cataclysmic event in the book happens very early on. The world, for lack of a better term, collapses. Did you just try kimchi? Did she scratch you?
I tried to hold her paw, and she...
Come on, you know better than that.
She grabbed onto it, so I pulled away.
Oh, honey. I know you do. Just leave her paws alone. Uh-huh.
Anyway, check that it's still recording.
It's still recording.
Okay, I'm paranoid now.
That's fair. So,
We were almost all the way through the book.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So the big cataclysmic event happens. Anybody who's inside of a structure gets smushed, I guess, for lack of a better term, or collapsed. And so they all get killed.
Ugh.
And then the only people who are surviving are the people in vehicles or people who are outside.
Which therefore means that the people who survive are weighted towards one side of the earth, because
Yes.
at 3 a.m. in like the US, or like 3 a.m. in any culture most of the time, people are
Asleep.
asleep inside, which means that they're gone.
Yeah.
Which means that on the other side of the earth at 3 p.m., which is sometime in military, I don't fucking know.
It's 1500.
At 1500, there's like kids getting out of school and walking to school. So that means that like it's like half the population that's like in the dungeon
Is mostly from Asia.
is mostly from Asia, and they're like probably all like school kids and moms.
Yep. They do explain that, and so when they enter the dungeon, like in the said title,
Yeah.
they all enter through a doorway.
Yeah.
And so basically what happens is the world collapses. There's a big like overhead announcer from an alien planet that's like, hey, we're collapsing your world to take all your resources because your world is resource rich. If you want to live in the next 24 hours, you have to enter these doorway portals that will be opening up across the earth. And basically they go, if you don't enter, then you die on the surface in the next 24 hours, because it will only continue to collapse from there. So
That they're really gonna kill you on the surface. So.
I don't know, but given that they just had a cataclysmic event, I don't think I would take the chances.
I guess that's fair.
Um,
What was the cataclysmic event like? Was it like an earthquake? Like where the building just collapsed, or did it just get smushed?
they kind of just, he didn't really describe it. It was more of just a smush. We can call it the smushioning.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't think it was, he didn't describe it as like an earthquake. He said it happened in the blink of an eye kind of thing. Where,
That's a cop out, to be honest with you.
listen, the guy's not, a technical writer. He's not going to tell you every little thing that, like, and explain the process of it happening.
It's not technical writing, that's descriptive writing.
He didn't describe it then.
Okay.
He just said it happened.
Okay.
Like I said, it's the guy's first book, okay? I'm not going to come after him for it, okay?
Hey, I can come after him for it.
That's fair.
I read a lot.
So, they describe that these portals open up, and then Donut miraculously,
No.
no, what? Really?
No.
You won't give me that one?
No.
That was mean.
No, my perfection was way better.
Anyway, so Donut,
I'm waiting for my perfection to come around again.
okay. Donut runs down and goes through the portal, and Carl is like, oh, I need this cat. I'm an idiot. Let me chase after the cat and go into the dungeon.
Why do you need the cat? You don't need the cat. There's a good chance that your girlfriend's dead.
So he knows that, but he still goes, what if she's still alive? Maybe I can find her in the dungeon and, I don't know, convince her not to cheat on me again, kind of thing. It's like this whole thing.
Bro.
Yeah, I know.
Bro.
And he's like, I know, I'm a loser, but what if it happens? He's like, there's a chance. Anyway, so they enter the dungeon. They describe the first floor as like, kind of like a concrete maze.
Okay.
And in this concrete maze, there's doorways all over. And I initially thought this was going to be like kind of like an extraction shooter kind of situation where there's doorways and there's rooms and you have to like loot and take everything out of the rooms. But no, the doors are just to a bathroom. And the bathrooms are every 100 to 200 feet. And they kind of just get on the loudspeaker and they're like, welcome to the dungeon. If you have to use the bathroom, please use the bathroom provided. Don't pee in the hallways.
Can I ask a question? Donut is a cat.
Yes.
Donut does not have thumbs.
Yes.
How does she open the door to the bathroom?
So they actually addressed that very early on.
Oh, okay.
So Donut can use, I guess.
Is there a cat flap for the bathroom?
No, they kind of like game explain it away, where because for animals that are quadrupeds, they have like telekinesis almost.
Oh.
So like, you know how in a game, if you're a cat in Baldur's Gate and you go and you open a door, the door just opens?
Sure, I definitely played Baldur's Gate.
It's okay. So this is like their way of getting around thumbs. But if she wants to use an item, she just has to think it.
It's very convenient.
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be a game, essentially.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then later on, they get a chat function, and she can type with her mind.
Sure.
Yeah, so...
Can she talk to Carl?
Yeah,
Does she have a voice?
Yes. So she is voiced in the book, too, because I listened to the audiobook. Because I only listen to audiobooks. It's the only way I'll read a book. And it's because somebody reads it to me.
It's still reading.
But they enter the dungeon. They're on the first floor. They encounter their first enemies, and it's like a mess, right? So they encounter these goblins. The goblins are probably smarter than Carl, but not Donut. And they try to run them over with this crazy bulldozer contraption. But because these goblins are so dumb, they get stuck and they run over each other for the most part. And then Carl basically is trying to run, and he finds a door that's not a bathroom door, because apparently they're all marked the same way, and it's just a personal universal bathroom. I don't know.
Personal universal bathroom sounds like an oxymoron.
Yeah.
But it makes sense because it's a magic bathroom that it's only
everywhere.
your bathroom when you go into the bathroom.
But isn't it crazy how in a sci-fi book, the most magical thing is the bathroom?
I feel like that might just be down to the author, to be honest with you.
Yeah. But he finds a doorway and he starts banging on it, and he's begging the person on the other side of the doorway to let them in.
Yeah.
He meets his first companion and his mentor, Mordecai. And so Mordecai is like, no, that's against the rules. I can't help you. And he tries to close the door in his face, and Carl's like arguing with him and pleading with him, and ends up having to go back and killing the goblins before Mordecai lets him enter the room.
But Donut enters the room before that.
Yes, so Donut enters the room first. Mordecai doesn't want to let Carl in, but the cat's running amok in his room. So he lets Carl in to get the cat, and then Carl, I guess, closes the door behind him.
It's against the rules for Carl to enter Mordecai's room because he's in a battle.
Yes.
Which is what I assume.
Yes, he's like, it's against the rules because I can't help you physically.
Then why is it okay for Donut to enter his room?
At that point, Donut is still just a cat.
Okay.
So I guess the way they explained it was that Donut at this point is currently a creature. And so the creatures have free roaming abilities. They're not a dungeon crawler or like a playable character. Exactly. So she's not a playable character. She's just a free roaming creature.
She's like a companion.
Not even. So she's not considered Carl's companion or anything.
Oh.
Because she's just running away from him still. And so she's her own free roaming creature, like NPC almost. And so she can go wherever she wants. But Mordecai cannot let Carl into the room because he's a crawler. He's a dungeon crawler. So he's one of the playable characters. Like, he's, basically the guy that you would choose in character select screen. And so Donut wanders into the room because Mordecai opens the door with like the little chain latch thing. And so Donut goes in, and then he's getting all upset. Mordecai gets all upset because Donut is running amok and knocking stuff around and getting into stuff that she shouldn't be.
As cats do.
It's very classic cat behavior.
Yep.
I understand. Yep. And Mordecai eventually relents and lets Carl in. And so he closes the door behind him. They have a conversation. Carl picks up Donut, and basically Mordecai explains that he gives a bunch of exposition about that he's a character. He's like a mentor figure to them, and so the crawlers can choose somebody to be their mentor, but he's not specifically assigned to anybody. And so he goes, later on, like when you get past a certain floor, they assign you a mentor and you can request that I be your mentor. But realistically, how it's supposed to work is you're supposed to go through the first few floors and interact with all the NPCs. And then you can choose one of the other, I guess, like NPCs to be your mentor if you want. And then you find out that so Mordecai is not an NPC per se, but he kind of gives them a lot of advice, and he leads on to more information than he's supposed to. And I think it's like he describes that he's partially restricted because the dungeon system won't allow him to help in certain ways, but he's only allowed to give out as much information as the other NPCs would know. So he kind of has to speak to them almost cryptically. And from there, he basically just tells them he gives them the lay of the land, where he's like, there are floors to the dungeon, and your ultimate goal is to keep going down floors.
Okay.
Every floor has a time limit.
Okay.
So the first floor, I think actually is a month. And then they have a month to make it down a staircase and go to the second floor. And so they spend this full month mostly grinding, fighting bosses, getting loot.
Can I point out? The first time?
I know. I said it was 2 weeks.
72 hours, and then you expanded it to 2 weeks, and now it's a month.
It's because I couldn't remember.
I feel like it makes more sense that it's like because it takes the most time to get acclimated.
Well, okay, so the book does this thing where, so every floor they go down, the time limit gets shorter.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But on the first floor, I think I remember, I can't remember if it's correct or not, they actually shorten their time frame halfway through.
Oh, that's mean.
Yeah, so I believe they get a month and then they shorten it to like 2 or 3 weeks instead.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. So like after the first week, they talk about how the dungeon crawl isn't going as fast as they want it to, so they speed up the timeline.
This, like, overarching intergalactic alien whatever intelligence is so weird. Like, it just feels like a lot of choices. And mind you, like, we've already gone through this whole, like, storyline for the most part. It feels like a lot of the choices that they make are just really arbitrary for the story to continue in the way that the author wants.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you discuss if a plot is character driven or if it's story driven.
Yeah.
And so in this case, it's story driven, where they're doing it to kind of raise tensions, which I don't exactly agree with, because I feel like if you can whimsically change your mind about how you want these things to function or bend the rules, what's to stop you from doing that going forward?
Yeah, so like it doesn't make any sense to, because they continue to change the rules. Like Mordecai, I think you told me like Mordecai was a dungeon crawler and is now in the process of retiring. And like, and part of the process of retiring is like he has to spend like 10 years as a mentor and then he can retire fully. But like, if they can arbitrarily change the rules like this all the time, why do you stay within the system?
I think he's locked into it.
Yeah.
So theoretically they have control over him at all times.
I understand, but like,
but also B, I guess the only other rationale is that he has a contract and that there's corporations and I guess they have to honor their contracts.
Yeah.
Or else there's intergalactic police.
I don't know. It just feels like very like, oh, like this is just the way to make it work, as opposed to like there's no like real backing behind it. It's not like, I feel like this is a very Hunger Games-y kind of like novel.
Yeah.
Because like they're doing it for entertainment and they're killing each other for entertainment, but like there's no real like reasoning. Like the Hunger Games have like a very deep lore and reasoning behind them,
Yeah, and as the books go on, you start to uncover more about it.
Okay.
But this very much feels like the author was laying the tracks in front of the train as they were running it.
They were like, oh shit, I've written myself into a corner.
Yeah, like, I need to figure out some way to change this.
Yeah.
But some of the changes that they make, I don't understand. I get that, like, the pacing is slow, but this is also the same issue I had with Sword Art Online.
Yeah.
Where I really like the premise. I like that he had to grind in this MMO and
Very
go through
similar
all the
premise.
floors. Yes, exactly. It's the same kind of thing, except you're going up instead of down, literally. And I thought it was crazy how in the first few episodes he goes up like 30 floors.
Yeah, he goes up really fast.
Yeah, and then
It's like one floor.
yeah,
every
and then
season.
each episode is like maybe a floor to half a floor, and then they don't even get to the top.
Yeah.
They only go halfway up and they abruptly end it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is the person who's telling the story thinking? Like, were they just out of engagement and people were not reading, so they had to change it?
I have no idea.
So I feel like the story didn't pan out for them there.
Yeah.
So maybe the author for this one was having the same issue where they felt like their story wasn't moving fast enough.
I mean-
so they just increased the timeline.
Yeah, to be fair, like I'm nitpicking with like the lore of the larger story because like that's like what interests me, obviously. And like you only read the first 3 books, so like it could be like at the end of the series he ends up outside the dungeon and like dismantles the weirdly archaic bureaucracy that is doing
whatever
this.
it is that's doing everything.
Yeah, it could be that like that happens and I just don't know. But that's like I wish there was more about like the system that they're in. It's kind of like that Black Mirror episode too, where he's like on the bike,
Yeah.
and if he like makes a good show, then he can like live really well. It's like I think it's a million credits or something like that. It's a really good Black Mirror episode. It's one of my favorite ones. And like if he can make himself like a really good show, then he gets out of like having to live this terrible lifestyle. But like he knows that he's in this lifestyle.
But I'm thinking the author knew they were going to write multiple books.
Yeah.
So the first book is the hook.
Okay.
They're trying to get you to watch
That makes
or to
sense.
listen.
Yeah.
And so in this case, they're just they're only dealing with the dungeon itself.
Yeah.
And they're trying to slowly unfold it while mixing in some combat. But basically the meat of the book is them going through combat scenarios and trying to figure things out. And try to get to the lower floors as the floors collapse.
Yeah.
So every floor has a time limit.
Yeah.
I think the first one starts off as a month and then they change it to like 3 weeks.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's to show you that the showrunners are flippant or that they have other motivations.
Yeah.
But the way it's described in the book is that you have like these overarching showrunners who run the dungeon and control like all of the monsters that are placed there and stuff like that. Basically, they go to the first floor, they meet Mordecai, and then Carl learns how to use the UI,
Okay.
and he learns how to use some of it.
Yeah.
He gets a rare item
Yeah.
that's like a pet biscuit. And so he goes, well, I have pet, which is donut. And then he goes, okay, let me give the pet the biscuit.
Okay.
And so he's like, in my mind, that makes sense. And
Yeah.
Mordecai warns him and goes, hey, unless you want this pet to be like another playable character and companion, if you give them this biscuit, it can change them. And it can turn them into your companion or another playable character. But if you wanted to keep her as a creature, you should not feed her that specific biscuit.
So like in theory, it's actually better for Donut to remain a creature because creatures are free roaming and don't have to fight.
Exactly. So she would live theoretically a better life.
She could like run away when, he was fighting and like run to the bathroom or something.
Yeah.
Probably. And then like he could find her later.
And I can't fully I think he does. I can't remember if Donut decides for him and eats the biscuit out of his hand. But she transforms.
Churu biscuit.
Yeah, basically. So it's just a normal animal treat.
Yeah.
And so she transforms and she turns into a playable character.
Yeah.
They check her character sheet.
Yeah.
She's sentient as normal, and she can talk, and she has feelings, and because she's a show cat, she's kind of like the star of the show, and very pompous, and it's very cute because it's a cat.
She got a little fluffy tail.
Yep.
Yeah.
So she's a Persian. She's got the smush face and the long hair and everything, and she's very regal, and she's like, I'm a princess. My full name is like Miss Princess, like Pink Toe Beans, blah blah blah. It's this extremely long title, and then it ends with Donut. So he just calls her Donut. But they end up examining her character sheet, and she is, to nobody's surprise, more intelligent and charming than Carl.
Yeah.
And he takes that personally.
I mean,
That the cat is more intelligent than him on a character sheet, which is funny. And then that basically begins their crawl. So Mordecai's like, go out and murder for experience.
and murder.
They run into a variety of monsters. One of them I didn't tell you about was, I think, one of the first monsters they met were llamas that spit acid.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, and then they found out that the llamas are actually in a gang and they sell drugs. They sell crystal meth. So he gets into a fight with one of the llamas and he punches the llama and he kills it, and he's looting the body, and he's like, why do these llamas have methamphetamines?
Anyway, all I can think of is Cusco from the Emperor's New Groove, but put the Squirtle gang glasses on him.
Yeah, basically. So I think one of the artworks that were depicted of these llamas for the cover art of one of his other books, it's the llama, and he's wearing like a stoner beanie and like, like the poncho. He's got the poncho on and everything, and I think he has like acid dripping out of his mouth.
Ugh.
Because he spits acid.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Although I thought it was alpacas that do that.
I think both alpacas and llamas spit. I don't think either of them spit acid.
No, but he runs into a variety of enemies.
Camels, llamas, alpacas.
You think there's a reasoning for that though?
I feel like they're all part of the same family.
They're the long neck family.
I wonder if giraffes do it too.
I was gonna say, is the giraffe the final boss?
I feel like it's not like horse-like items.
Yeah.
Or not items, but like it's not like horse-like creatures. Because like horses do spit, but not like llamas spit.
Nah, llamas got it, like they got range.
Yeah, and it's like a warning. They're like, oh, llamas spit. Like they don't warn you about horses spitting.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, I feel like llamas, alpacas, camels, all three, they warn you about spitting. I feel like, I wonder if giraffes are in there.
Maybe the giraffe is in the middle of the triangle.
The giraffe is the king. He's got to spit the furthest because he's the tallest.
I mean, that is technically true. But they go through the first floor, and they're basically just meandering around. Basically, they find out that the inventory system is endless. So you can sort your inventory, you can put whatever you want into it. I think the only restrictions were that you have to be able to hold it for more than a few seconds. So if you can hold it for 3 seconds and lift it up fully, then you can put it in your inventory.
It's a raccoon with the cotton candy.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say, what if you can pick somebody else up? And I go, they specifically gave restrictions to it cannot be anything that breathes.
What about Donut? Donut can't go in the inventory.
No.
Okay. I was thinking about the raccoon with the candy floss. It's just trying to wash it. And then the candy floss disappeared.
Oh, sad raccoon. He gives you the big eyes too. He's like, how could you do this to me? That's so mean.
That raccoon is traumatized. He's like the raccoon from Encanto.
Imagine he's just like, I'll never trust again.
The nose scratch.
Aww.
Poor guy.
So they're running through the first floor. They're learning about the system, and then they run into their first boss, and they find out that there's a tier system to their bosses. And depending on what tier of boss you fight, you can get better loot, you can get more of a mini map, and then you can also get just like various items depending on the boss that you kill. And so he fights off against the first boss. I think they do a decent job and they win. It's not like that close of a call.
Okay.
But I think he just kind of stumbled into the boss room, so it was more of a serendipity kind of moment. And they very much gamify it where they put your name and the boss's names like V each other on the screen or on your HUD, and they freeze you for a second before every fight.
What's a HUD?
The heads up display. So in your field of view, you'll have like your health bar, you'll have like your mana, your stamina. Yeah, so sorry, I forgot to explain that.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of first person games, so like my HUD is with like I'm on screen in my games, so like, it's not really the same.
But it's all the indicators as part of your HUD.
What would happen if you were wearing glasses? Because like I have like glasses, and so like imagine if my like
I don't think they really
display would be like up here, and I couldn't see it. Like I can't, because if it's like right here, I would not be able to read it.
Yeah.
You
I understand.
See where I'm pointing, but like in the upper, like above my glasses.
Where your frame is.
Yeah.
I don't think that they never discussed that as a potential issue.
This is a problem with a lot of people who don't wear glasses.
You're
they
like,
just never think about how glasses.
They're glasses racist.
They are. There's a glassism.
Glassism.
I'm funny. There's a glassism, as you know. There should be more female characters who are pretty with glasses. Thank you for coming to my talk.
Who are pretty with or without
glasses.
the glasses. It doesn't really matter.
Yes. Well, because like then they do the full makeover and they take them off and then they're like, oh my god, they're so beautiful. Anyway, I'm tired of it.
It's okay. So they kind of feed you more of the system as they go through combat.
Yeah.
And then he learns that there's a map of the floor, but you can only get bits and pieces from the bosses that you have to fight.
Okay.
And so he kind of explains that he didn't realize that the maps could be useful and that there was a map to begin with. And Mordecai's like, well, yeah, dude, what do you mean? Like, of course there's a map. Do you know how big this dungeon is? And Carl's response is essentially, no, I don't, because I'm an idiot. And he just constantly repeats that he's an idiot.
Carl's pulled down on himself.
I was like, I think that's pretty fair, though. I mean, I feel like in this scenario, I would be like, I'm an idiot. Yeah, just please help me. It's usually what I do when I tell people I truly don't know what I'm doing.
Can I ask another question?
Mm-hmm.
So Carl gets a map piece, right? Mm-hmm. But he's in a party right now because Donut is now a sentient.
Yes, and she's his companion and they're in a party together.
If, like, let's say they both fight the boss, right? And Donut deals, like, a couple of blows, so she also gets loot. Because usually, like, when you're in a party and you fight, like, you divide up, like, the random drops, right?
You do share the map.
What if she gets a different piece of the map?
She does not.
You only get the one piece of the map.
Yes, the map is considered shared loot, so when he picks it up, both of them get that same piece.
If you meet up with another party, can you share your map pieces?
Theoretically, yes. You can join up on a party together, and it kind of... They have this other system later on in the books where you can get a space and you kind of like interlock them together.
Yeah.
And so it does become additive, and if you remove yourself from the party, then you lose that part of the map.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so it's like shared intelligence in a sense.
Yeah.
But they fight their first boss, they get a map, and at this point they're feeling pretty confident. They're like, everything's going good, we're leveling up, we're getting good loot, we're doing well, and they run into their first major villain.
Oh.
So there's safe rooms around the map. They're not that bountiful. Okay. So it's like, I think they say every 20 miles or so. That's like 10. They're trekking through this floor for weeks.
Bro's feet must hurt.
Yep, especially because he's got no shoes. And so everything you enter into the dungeon with, you have on you in the dungeon, and that's it. You can't bring anything else out from the inside if you've already entered. So that's why I had to ask you that question in the beginning, where what would you bring with you?
Yeah.
I don't know how I'd grab kimchi. I'd probably have to just hold her like a baby and run in.
You need to like you'd have to be prepared. Like, what if you could get a harness on her and everything? Walks with kimchi on Instagram. Like, follow a chair.
Oh god. But they're feeling pretty confident, and they had been told, or they had seen a couple of other deceased players. And when you go to loot the corpse, you can see A, what's in their inventory, and B, who they were killed by. So earlier on in the book, before they meet Mordecai, they see a corpse, and it's like this person, and they open up their inventory, and they see that this girl has nothing on her. She's basically got underwear and like, I think like fruit or something. And it says like, was killed by this other player, Frank.
Okay.
So later on, they're going through the floor, and they find out that they go to the safe room, and they run into this other player, Frank, which, you know, it's tough to know who killed this person because it's a very common name, but they notice that Frank has skulls next to his name, and they don't actually know what that means.
Oh, they don't.
Yes. So at that point, I think that they don't know yet, and he's just making an educated guess.
Okay.
And so
Yeah.
so he sees like these skulls next to Frank's name,
Yeah.
and Frank is talking to him, and I think he's actually the one that explains to Carl that the skulls mean that you've killed another player. And so he
That's
explains
how you disarm a potential mark.
exactly. So he's explaining in the safe room
Yeah.
that like if you kill another player, no matter how they died, if they died from you in any way, you get a skull next to your name. And the amount of skulls that you have next to your name indicates how many players you've killed.
Oh, you have a number. It's not just like there's one skull, like that you're a player killer. It's like you get more.
Exactly. So
Does he have next to his name?
I think Frank has 3.
That's a lot.
And so Carl asks him to explain and says, can you explain to me why you have 3 skulls next to your name? And he says, oh yeah, sure. I'm a police officer. And like when we entered the dungeon, I was chasing, I think he was like chasing illegal immigrants or something. So like,
Yes.
this book is from 2015.
Right here.
So Frank was chasing illegal immigrants, and they were armed, and they were in a shootout, and he was part of ICE, I think. And so he was chasing down these illegal immigrants. They got into a shootout. He shot a couple of their people, but they ultimately got away from him when they entered in. So they entered the dungeon because they were chasing after these illegal immigrants in their country, which is presumably somewhere in America. And basically he tries to explain that he's like, I had the skulls because the people that I shot died in the dungeon. And so so eventually they died because they can't receive any medical care.
Yeah.
And so they died, and then the skulls appeared, and my partner that I'm with had told me that they appeared randomly, and I didn't understand what happened at first. So he was trying to play it off dumb. Or he's like, I didn't realize till later that I got these skulls because I killed people or because I hurt them.
He's still like a police officer who shot to kill
Yeah.
without due process.
Listen.
Anyway,
He's trying to...
Dungeon Crawler Kyle's getting real political right now.
So Frank is a dum-dum. They're in a safe zone, and Carl knows that in a safe zone,
Yeah.
people can sleep, and when they sleep, like on the beds provided in the safe zone, they become
Immune.
yeah, they become immune. So they become non-corporeal, so you can't touch them.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can't touch them, you can't hurt them, nothing. Yeah, exactly. So they become a ghost.
Yeah.
And so Frank and Carl are having this long conversation, and like the whole time Donut's like fluffed up. She's ready to fight.
She's like, her tail's going. And she's like,
Yeah, she's going crazy. And Carl knows that in a safe zone, though, you can't hurt each other.
Yeah.
If you try to hurt somebody, like let's say you take a gun and you shoot at them, they put you in like intergalactic timeout for 90 seconds.
90 seconds is not that long, by the way.
The first time for 90 seconds. If you try again in a safe zone, they put you in air jail for, I think it's like a day or something like that. It's like 18 hours, something arbitrary.
So, like, because I've already listened to you tell most of this story already,
Yeah.
I know that, like, they collapse the floors and they also will, like, kill you if you don't use the bathrooms. Why? Okay. They will, like, murder you. This intergalactic bureaucracy will murder you for not using the bathrooms. But won't punish you beyond, like, air jail for trying to kill other players.
I think it's like a 3-strike system. And so trying to kill is described very loosely. So they have a confrontation later on in a different book where one of the characters gets into a fight with another character and they get put into air jail because he's like hitting the other person. So I think it's just any kind of fighting in a safe room.
I just feel like this is like a very arbitrary line that we've drawn.
I don't know. But yeah, so Carl knows that you should be safe in a safe room.
That's the point of a safe room.
Yep. And so he is kind of like angling and walking closer and like stepping towards the door, and Frank is trying to keep him distracted and talking. And then Frank's partner appears because she has some kind of cloaking item, wearable, and she shoots at Carl. And because they're dumb and they don't know that that's how the safe zones work, they get put into air jail for 90 seconds. And so they get frozen and they're put into jail for a 90-second timeout. So Frank's partner tries to shoot at him, and then Frank shoots at him at the same time because they think that they're ambushing them in the safe room.
So, like, they're in the safe zone. The air jail is only like 90 seconds, right?
Yeah, so Carl runs.
But there's not enough time for Carl to get to another safe zone. So by running and leaving the safe zone, he no longer is safe from their attempt to kill him. They get 90 seconds. They can come after him after 90 seconds. It's not very long.
So I think it's his mistrust in the system because it doesn't always work. They describe in the book that like he gets frozen the first time, but then when they have a fight later between these two characters, they beat each other up pretty intensely, and then they get put into air jail.
So is that like he doesn't trust the system, or is it like the author forgot the system?
I don't know. I think it's just that he didn't know how it works. So I think at the time he doesn't know about the 3-strike system. He just knows that.
You see what I'm saying? Like, if you're in a safe zone and somebody tries to kill you.
I understand what you're saying, but I think they just want to run.
Like, why leave the safe zone?
The logic is just that you're panicking and this guy's trying to kill you.
Like, it's very far to the next safe zone.
I mean, you're not running to another safe zone.
Right, but you should stay in the safe zone because they can't kill you there.
I don't know. I think it's more...
Why keep them in air jail? Why not yeet them out of the safe zone?
That happens after the 3rd strike.
Why does it not happen after the 3rd strike?
I don't know. They don't explain the system, and I think he doesn't know how the system works either. He just knows that somebody is not supposed to be able to hurt you in a safe zone, but he also doesn't trust it because he doesn't know how strong the construct and the rules are.
I feel like the rules...
Well, because he bends the rules all the time, too. So, like, of course the system isn't gonna really be perfect.
I feel like the rules are arbitrary. I feel like they don't make sense.
I feel like you don't like this book.
Maybe. Anyway, okay. But my point about the rules is true.
So, his idea is that they run. Okay. And when they run, they very specifically leave a trap for Frank in the hallway that they're running out of. So when they go to the safe room, they notice there's a bunch of corpses from monsters, and they see that all of these monsters are looted clean. So they're picked clean. There's none of like the random garbage in them that they normally find on like a goblin or a slime or something, or an alpaca. There's just nothing. So as they're running away, he thinks about how they must have been in the safe room before he had gotten there, and they
Yeah.
were waiting to strike to kill him.
Yeah.
So he, at this point, is become proficient with explosives. And so he thinks, if I put this explosive into the corpse of one of the monsters that we defeat, and Frank comes by and loots it, he loots everything out of it without looking. And so he'll loot the explosive, and the explosive has a continuous timer once the fuse is lit, once it's in a playable character's inventory, but not a corpse.
So, why did Frank and his partner assume that Carl was trying to kill them? Did he just know that Carl was like on the same path as him, and so he thought that like Carl was following him to try and kill him?
Are you mixing up the characters' names right now?
Frank?
Frank is the one hunting them.
No, Frank was in the safe room.
Yes, and Frank is trying to kill them.
So Frank was in the safe room when they got into the safe room, is what you said.
Yes.
Waiting for Carl.
Yes.
Why is he waiting for Carl?
They explain that later in a different book, but Frank specifically hunts down other characters or other playable characters because he gets a bonus for killing them,
Okay.
but he has to mark the person.
Okay. And then, so he's specifically hunting Carl, and Carl knows that he's specifically hunting him.
Carl thinks that he's hunting him down to get his loot. So, and
Okay.
it's just that Carl happened to be the guy who strolled into the safe room.
Okay. All right. Sure.
So I think they run, they leave a trap for Frank, and that's kind of done
Okay.
for that chapter.
Okay.
And so it's something that they'll come back to later.
Okay.
But they get away from Carl, or they get away from Frank, and they meet a new group of people. And so they start seeing writing on the walls, literal graffiti. And it's like, come join our group. We have a group of survivors. There's a camp. And I go, this is very like zombie apocalypse-esque.
Feels very suspicious though.
Yeah. And so he's suspicious. So he wants to check it out because he hasn't interacted with many other players.
Yeah.
And it's okay. And so basically he goes to meet up with this group, and he wants to see like what the group's all about, and he ends up finding this group from a retirement home called Meadowlark. And they only truly have maybe 5 or 6 people that are able-bodied.
Yeah.
And they find out that there's like 40 seniors here, varying amounts of dementia, old age, they're all really frail. And he finds out that their story is that one of them had pulled the fire alarm in the middle of the night, and so that's why they were all outside, and they all evacuated the building when the collapse happened, and that's how they ended up in the dungeon with them. So at first they ask if Carl wants to strike up like a partnership or a deal to take on the floor boss, which they speculate will have a staircase to go down to the next floor. And so Carl is hesitant. He's like, I feel like they're just going to weigh me down, so I'm not a big fan of this. And so he leaves, and he goes, I'm going to go and grind and try to get more levels and more items. And you guys should do the same, and I'll come back and we can meet up like a day before the
timeline.
the time to collapse.
Yeah.
So he goes and grinds. They fight some more bosses. They get some more loot. He basically is like a kleptomaniac at this point, and he steals everything and puts it into his inventory. And he then thinks up a strategy for them. They end up going full phalanx, and he builds a contraption so that he can put the contraption in his inventory. When they get into the boss room, they can put the contraption down and make it the phalanx.
It's like a Avatar the Last Airbender.
Yeah, kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. So they get into the boss room. They find out it's kind of like a giant roly-poly. And so the giant roly-poly is like beating them up. They're kind of really struggling to fight this boss. And then eventually they prevail. It just takes a long time.
Yeah.
And so then they talk to Meadowlark, and there's a group of the main survivors that are able-bodied, and he's still kind of weary because one of the survivors in their group has like 14 skulls next to their name. Yeah,
But
and so
like the people that were from the retirement home that were like on hospice care.
that's why he's not sure. He doesn't ask her, but he sees that the playable character or the other character has all these skulls next to their name, and he's kind of freaked out.
Yeah, I mean, I would be too.
And that's how he finds out that when you hit double digits, they give you a different color skull to signify that you've gotten 10, 20, or 30.
Yeah.
And so it goes like 1 through 10, they're all like silver skulls, and then every denomination of 10 is like a gold skull.
Yeah.
So he's really worried because he's like, Frank only had 3 skulls, but this lady's got like 14.
Yeah.
So she's killing people.
Yeah.
And he kind of stays away from her.
Yeah.
And he's kind of scared. Then I believe they reveal that it's because some of the residents did not want to continue.
Yeah.
So she mercy killed them, and that's why she has all the skulls.
Yeah.
And I was like, that makes sense. You know, that's not too hard to guess.
I mean, that's like very zombie apocalypse. Any kind of apocalypse, like, especially if you're in, like, I guess maybe not retirement homes, because, like, that could be assisted living.
Yeah.
But, like, any kind of, like hospice care, I feel like that would make sense.
Yeah. And then they take the staircase down to the second floor. They start up on their journey again. It's just a grind fest, you know. Fight bosses, get loot, craft items.
Sounds terrible.
What? That's like how every MMO goes.
I know, but I hate grinding.
Yeah, but I think on the second floor they get 2 weeks, let's say.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, on the second floor you have to go through it. It's more of the same, which is kind of sad. So it's just a concrete maze again.
Yeah.
And so they're like trying to figure out these tactics to beat boss rooms, and so they come up with this tactic where Carl creates essentially a really big stick of dynamite. They open the boss room door, they chuck the dynamite in, and then they close the
boss room door.
Exactly. And so theoretically these giant explosives are big enough to deal AoE damage to the entire room. So they do a room like this, and it works. And they're like, we're geniuses, it works.
AoE is...
area of effect.
Yeah, there you go.
So he deals enough damage in a giant circle around the explosive that it kills the boss.
Yeah.
So they do a room like this, works great. They do another room, and it like blows the door off the hinges. And he realizes they had explosives in the room already.
Oh.
So
It was extra explosive.
Yep, and then they get to this next room, which is another boss room, and they go, okay, same plan as always. I'm going to wheel in this giant wheelbarrow of explosives, and then we're going to light the fuse and run.
Okay.
And he's like, I've got it down to a science. It's fine. They get ready to go into the room, and they get pulled into the room from the boss.
No.
So the boss, it turns out, can roam outside of the room on this floor. And so she pulls him in, and they have to have a proper fight.
And it's like when you get a boss fight and like the like gates go up and you can't leave the room kind of
Exactly. So if you go in too far and trigger the boss fight, then you can't leave. And so he gets stuck in the room. His specialty is explosives, which is very unfortunate because you deal a lot of damage to yourself.
Yeah, and to your party.
So he has a really close call. They basically he explodes most of his inventory.
Ouch.
And he essentially kills himself. And Donut ends up saving him. So she I think she feeds him a potion, and it heals him like just enough to keep him alive. And then she has to drag him out of the room to continue to heal him.
She's like a 10-pound cat.
Yeah, she's a 10-pound cat, and she's dragging a full-grown man. Granted, the way game logic, so she has better stats, more strength.
No, but she has more intelligence, not more strength, I thought you said.
She does have more intelligence than Carl, which is not very hard.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But she does improve in strength and vitality and everything. So she still doesn't have a lot of health, but she gets more strength and more intelligence.
She must have really rolled that d20 real good.
Well, it's not the randomizer, so I think when you get levels, you can put stats in. Yeah, whatever you want. Yeah. So she put into strength, because I think they were going after something specific where like she needed to have enough strength to do something. I forget, but it was like, oh, it just works out that she was strong enough to drag him. I don't think she dragged him very well.
I feel like she probably put him down after. Also, like, she has telekinesis. I'm so confused.
It's telekinesis
with some things, but not with other things. Anyway, she pulled him somewhere, and I feel like afterwards she put him down, and she's like, "That really hurt my little teepees."
Yeah, probably. I think so like in this boss fight, I think it gets very emotional.
Yeah.
So they get pulled into the room and they're stuck and they're like panicking and they're trying to figure out how to beat this boss. And he ends up doing that huge explosive, and he lights the huge explosive, and it's his Hail Mary, and he curls up around Donut.
Aww.
And he's like, she doesn't have enough health points, so if I don't live, maybe she will.
Yeah.
So he tries to protect her, and then she drags him out, and they're like, I love you, you know.
Bonding.
Yeah, and so throughout most of the book, Donut is talking about how she's excited to see her owner, the ex-girlfriend, and how, like, you know, when she meets up with the ex-girlfriend, if she's gonna join up with her and leave Carl, and blah blah blah. And so after this big boss fight, they have like a heart-to-heart, and she's like, listen, I know she's probably dead, and, you know, we're gonna stay together until the end. And it's very touching.
It's so sad.
Yeah. Then let me think.
So they're on the second floor boss.
Yep, so they beat the second floor boss. I think that reveals the location of a staircase. And they meet back up with Meadowlark. And they had this whole strange encounter again with the bathrooms, where one of the residents of Meadowlark decides to relieve himself in the hallway. And that summons a rage elemental because the overarching system has been just trying to deter people from peeing in the hallways. And yep, and so that's when you learn about the PKer in Meadowlark, the lady with like the 14 skulls. And so you realize that she's been killing the residents mostly as a mercy kill, and then in this case to try to stop the rage elemental from spawning.
Yeah.
They unfortunately can't stop it. Most of their group gets ripped up. And then Carl tries to lure it away, and they basically trick the rage elemental into running into a staircase down, which you cannot go back from.
Okay.
And so that's how they solve that problem, but the damage is already done. Most of Meadowlark is gone. I think they have like 20 people left, and then the 5 able-bodied people are still there.
Yeah.
Then, let's see. They go on to... Okay. Yeah, so they go on to a talk show in between floors. So they get pulled, and they're on this talk show, and they learn a little bit more about Mordecai and like his service. And in order to be free, he has to serve as like a mentor or tutor, and blah blah blah. And they get some more exposition about how the dungeon crawl is a show. So they're on this talk show. They find out that people actually like them, and that people mostly like Donut because she's funny and she's cute, and she's a cat. And then they find out when they go down to the 3rd floor, they have to choose a race and a class. And so the person who's running the talk show gives them some advice and says, hey, when it comes to choosing a new race, because you guys are so popular right now, I would say you should not change your race because you want people to be able to recognize you.
Okay.
And so if Donut is suddenly a person, like, that would be horrible for her image.
Plus, she's no longer fluffy.
Yeah, and so Donut gets into this whole monologue about how she's the perfect race and that she would never even consider not being a cat.
This feels very much like Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah, where it's like she goes, I am perfection, and then she like fluffs up her coat.
Fluffy, fluffy perfection.
Yeah, and then she talks to, the talk show host talks to Carl and is like, hey, I know Mordecai personally, and she gives him some more information. And then they get pulled to another show because I guess it's like the first time they're free to do talk shows. And so they get pulled into this other talk show that's like kind of like a mixture of Jackass and like the Andy Milonakis show. Like it's 10-year-old boy humor. This guy,
I think most of this book is 10-year-old boy humor.
It's somehow worse.
Oh.
And so this guy runs a talk show where he's like extremely wealthy, and so he has some control over the dungeon. And so that he pays for the right to manipulate and like teleport players out. So he runs this like really cruel chance game where he pulls a group of survivors out into his talk show, and then he basically goes, hey, so you guys are about to die in the dungeon, and I pulled you out right before you die, but when we go back, you guys are going to go back to your place, but I'll give you a chance. If you spin this wheel and you get a teleport like scroll or spell or something like that, I'll teleport one of you guys out of there. But you have to choose somebody else to take their place. Yeah, and you have to choose who gets it.
Yeah.
And so you learn that this talk show host is extremely cruel, and he has like a kind of a stupid audience.
Yeah.
And he watches this whole segment that goes on before he does.
Yeah.
And then he gets pulled onto the next segment.
Carl,
and
right?
Yep, Carl gets pulled onto the next segment with Donut.
Yeah.
And they have these two other guests that join them for the segment.
Yeah.
And so the show host is like cruel, and he's like joking about Carl kind of just being a loser.
Aww.
And he's like, Donut's stupid, and she's like a little B-word. Yeah, he's whatever. And then they bring out the other two guests, and the other two guests are Frank and his partner.
Oh.
And so they can't harm Carl in this talk show interaction. So it's like not possible, I think, the way that they do it.
Yeah.
And so basically you learn that Frank and his wife had a daughter with them when they entered into the dungeon. And his first item he rolled was like a kind of like a revenge or like hunting item. So when you're in a party, you share experience no matter who does the killing.
Okay.
And so they want their daughter to survive, but they're like separated partners, so they don't really love each other. And the daughter is the only thing that's keeping them together. And she doesn't want to kill or harm any monsters because she's a good person.
Yeah.
And so she refuses, but they go out and they kill monsters, but they also need loot. And Frank gets this special item that gives him a bonus when he kills other players that he marks. So their idea is that you mark a player, you ambush them, you murder them, and then the extra XP all gets sent to his daughter so that she has a better chance of surviving.
Okay.
They show in the talk show, they can do like clips from the actual dungeon crawl, and they show that the trap that Carl had left for them actually ended up going to their daughter because she was looting the monster corpses.
Oh no.
And so Frank pulls out the dynamite because he's looting like an idiot, and his daughter is really close to him, and she ends up dying.
Oh.
Yeah, and so then Frank basically swears vengeance on him and all that stuff, and the partner like wants to murder Carl.
Yeah.
And the talk show host gives them a special spell that allows them to track down players from like across the map.
Oh.
So it gives you a constant lock and location. Oh my god, wow. Kimchi's really listening.
I wonder if they can hear Eddie.
Oh, I can check later. And so
I don't really look up Kimchi, huh?
yeah. So they deal with this like cruel talk show. Carl finds out that he kills Frank's daughter.
Yeah, by accident, technically.
Yep, by accident.
And Frank came after him first.
I believe, maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe this isn't in between fours. This is just like while they're resting, they get pulled into these talk shows. They go and fight another boss, and they get a key to a special rewards room. And then they introduce you basically to the last member of their party. And so the last member of their party is a pet.
Of Carl's party.
Yes.
Okay.
And so you meet this. They go into this rewards room and they have to choose from one of like 6 rewards. One of them is like a dinosaur egg.
Yeah.
One of them is like another, like a dog. One of them is like a flying pterodactyl kind of thing. And so Donut chooses the dinosaur egg.
Interesting choice.
Turns out it's a raptor. And
course.
so they get their last party member, which is more of a pet rather than like a companion.
Yeah.
So the raptor can't talk. It's not
Yeah.
really sentient. It's more of a creature.
Yeah.
And then the book ends, and it ends kind of on a cliffhanger where they get to the last staircase to go down to the 3rd floor, and they talk about race selection and race and class selection, and how there'll be a lot of options and they need to consider their choices, and what are the pros and cons of each race or whatever. And that's it.
That's it?
Yeah, and so that's the end of the first book. And then the second book, they spend the whole fluffing time on the floor. The whole book is on one floor.
Yeah. I feel like, because I know you told me that the first book was like indie published.
Well, the first, second, and third book were.
Yeah, so I wonder if like the first book, because when you're writing like fan fiction and like self-published stuff, a lot of times you'll write like your first book will be like you'll write a lot because you don't know if people will read it.
Yeah,
So,
so
like, you
maybe
have to get
they're.
out as much as possible.
Yeah.
And then like once you have a following, you can kind of slow down. So I wonder if that's what happened. But also like, so you rated it 4 out of 5 stars. I'd be interested like if you used like my rating system, what you would get. Because like I change my like ratings, my final ratings, if I feel like a book like was good in most of the areas, and then like in one area I was like, it could be better. So like if you had to like rate it on plot out of 5 stars.
Plot, I would give it like a 3.
Okay.
Maybe a 2. I feel like it's tough because like everything was just a means to the end. The plot was very weak.
Yeah. Okay. So that you can give them like half measures too. You can do like 2.5.
2.5 out of 5. Like it got the job done and
Yeah.
it's fine and it made sense.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like groundbreaking.
Like there wasn't a huge amount of lore in your plot. Like
especially in the first book.
Like I feel like there's a lot of like, oh, like this galactic federation that like has made this whole like choice for you, and like it keeps getting mentioned, but like nobody talks about it.
Yeah, and I assume that's because they're trying to save it for a later book when they can give more exposition.
But it's like it's the most interesting point of the book.
Not to me. I think the
me.
combat is very
To be
fun.
fair, yeah, like to be fair, I'm more like driven by politics than combat, because I feel like combat books is just never great for me.
I feel like that's probably why, because this book is definitely geared towards a male audience.
Yeah.
Especially ones with very short attention spans.
And then okay, so it's plot and then enjoyment
I would say
out of 5.
I'd give it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed
You
it.
did enjoy it. You read the first 3 books.
I was hooked really hard by the first book.
Yeah. Okay.
Then artistry.
Artistry is like prose, descriptions.
I'll give it a 2. Their descriptions were well done, and I enjoyed their characters and like how they wrote them. Obviously, it doesn't come out in the summary because we're just going through the whole plot.
Yeah.
But I feel like it should rank pretty low. I was gonna say like 2, maybe 1.5 if I want to be really harsh. But I feel like it was coherent enough where it's way better than I could have written. Oh, kimchi.
Oh, she did the floppy.
And then character, I give a 4 out of 5 for Donut. 4 paws way up.
Specifically just like Donut.
I think everyone does.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
Donut is the emotional intelligence of the book.
Yeah.
So like what Carl lacks in emotional and actual intelligence, she is meant to make up for.
And then the 5th component is just like the general heart of the novel.
I'll probably give it like a 3.
You think it's not great, but like not.
It didn't really.
It's like enjoyable.
Yeah, and so like the heart of the novel, I get what they're trying to do, and I enjoyed it, but I also got annoyed that they kept changing the rules.
I don't have like my calculator. I mean, so I can't calculate your piece
It's okay.
for me.
I will do it right now. So I said 2.5
for plot.
plus 2 plus.
What was your 2? Your 2 is character. No, your 2 is artistry.
Yep, and then I said 4 for
enjoyment. You said
enjoyment.
4 for enjoyment, 4 for
character,
and then heart. I think you gave it a 3. So you add those together and you divide by 5.
3.1.
That's pretty fair.
So 3.1. I think if I were to rate it on a scale out of 5 stars, just in general, I gave it a 4.
Yeah, you started at a 4.
Yeah, I feel like the artistry really pulls it down.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Like that's why sometimes like I will just change the rating of a novel. Like for I Am Made of Death, like it technically was a 4.5, and I bumped it to a 5 because even though the characters were not like my favorite, the artistry was really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like, you know, it's just a guidance. It's nice to be able to like separate a rating into aspects of a book, as opposed to like an overall 5 stars or an overall 3 star, because you're kind of like, what does 3 stars really mean?
Yeah.
Because it could be really strong, like you said, it was really strong in like what it hooked you on, which was the characters, and like the plot was really interesting for you, but the artistry was just not there.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it. We're like at an hour 20.
Woo! So we did it!
I'll call it. Okay. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.